All right. I am live. How cool is that? Very quick today. Internet's been slow lately. We've had storm after storm after storm after storm. Hey, Nicola's Recipes. How you doing? I was coming on because I wanted to do a quick batch of announcements. Good morning. Okay. What time is it there? Italy, right? You're Italy, correct? Oh, you know what? Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, 9 p.m. there. You're saying good morning because, oh, no, it's 2 p.m. here. I thought so because I know Europe, like France and stuff, they're only like 6 hours, 7 hours ahead of 6 hours ahead of us. So, okay. Oh, you just had dinner. So I was just going to go over some really quick announcements first. I might do a live stream tonight. I'm not sure. 8 p.m. possibly. I had one scheduled yesterday. Did a lot of work. Just I was busy till 7 o'clock. I was tired. Just didn't get to it. Hold on one second. Let me get my light on here. There we go. It's a little better. Turn that just a little bit. Get the light out. There we go. Okay. Hopefully that's better. Found out something really cool, which I'm going to talk about later or next week in a video. Let's see. That would be super early for you. That would be 8 p.m. here, which would put you at what, 3 a.m. or so. But you can replay it. But this is just going to be a quick one because I wanted to go over some stuff. I have a video dropping tomorrow talking about the two things that I did when I was early on YouTube, when I first started in February on my Oki's Eden channel. And there are two errors I made that I was climbing in views and then it kind of tanked because I did a couple of things that I should not have done because I didn't know any better and figured it out and then worked on it and then brought it back up. So I'm going to go over the first two things. So if you're a new YouTuber or stuck or you're losing views and you don't know why, that might be why. So if you watch that video, that would be great. I might go live tonight. I am going live next week for Monday or Wednesday, one of those days. I was going to do it this week, but we've had thunderstorms. It was too muddy. And I just realized today, you have to have 50 subscribers to do a live on your iPad or iPhone. Since I'm only at 30-ish, I have to use my laptop. It's kind of clunky. I didn't want to have to carry that out to the garden. So yes, I'll bring up the points. Yes. And then, so what I'm going to do is, I forgot I have Oki's Eden channel, which has 300 viewers or subscribers. So worst case scenario is I'll do the live from Oki's Eden, and then I will just download it later and then upload it into Oki's Hustle. So if you don't follow me on Oki's Hustle and you follow me on Oki's Eden, you can watch it over there. So because Oki's Eden has 300 subscribers, I can use my cell phone or my iPad, and then I can move it around and click on the screen to move it facing me or facing the garden. I don't know why that just clicked in today, but it did. So either way, it's going to be on the iPad or iPhone. And then I can do the same thing where I walk. I'm going to post a couple of videos of the forest fire, the wildfire we had that came close to our house. It was really close. We thought we were going to lose our house. And I'm going to show pictures of that and maybe even some video. And then a couple days later, I'm going to walk that road that was around our house to show you how much it's greened up again, how fast it came back. Our weather's been thunderstorms again. We had tornado warnings again. Yeah, I'm going to harvest potatoes and possibly green beans and possibly radishes if the radishes are ready and if the green beans are ready. I've harvested a lot of the green beans, but I have a grouping of pole beans that are budding out and they might be ready to harvest then. So I'll pick some green beans right on camera. I'll harvest some potatoes, some baby reds, some russets, and some Yukon Golds. And then I thought about it, since this is a growth channel and I can use analogies from gardening, using them to use an analogy for how YouTube grows and analogies with gardening versus YouTube. I think next week maybe, or the week after, I'm going to do a cooking video using some of my vegetables. And then just talking about growing on YouTube while I'm cooking with my vegetables, the ones that I grew, my veggies that I grew. I think that would be pretty cool. Because I like to cook anyways. I'm not fancy like you guys are. I have old pans from my mom, and it'll be a lot of fun. But I'm thinking about doing that next week or the week after. I did 3 really short videos this morning talking about my potato, cucumber, green beans, and something else. My pumpkins, maybe. And I just did a quick analogy on how YouTube is like a pumpkin seed, how YouTube is like a potato plant. I have 4 of them, and it's only about a minute and a half long. That's going to release about 4 o'clock this afternoon, which for you would be that would be 12 a.m. for you. But you can watch it in the morning. It's only a minute and a half, and it's just going to go from one to the other. And then I put a small transition where it like zooms into the next frame. And then I did that because now I ran that as a regular long form, and then I'll break it up next week and do little video shorts of those same frames. That'll be next week. One interesting thing, Nicola, have you watched? I did a video on research. It was my second video. I did on why it's important to research your stuff before you post a video even. And I held up a piece of paper like that. If you can read that, maybe. Oh, I hope you like Glenn and Friends. I love Glenn and Friends. He's one of my favorites. So those are just hashtags for like a YouTube growth channel. And next to the actual hashtag, that's how many videos are using that hashtag. So you see anywhere from 64,000 to 1.6 million. Like hashtag shorts is like 1.6 billion. There's like 1.6 billion videos using that. So it's a very popular trending hashtag. So I went in today because it's been about 2 weeks since I used this list. And I decided to go back in using my research to see, well, are these still trending? So you can see 2 of them. This one, Road, and then down to Grow With Me. I put a black line through it. Those are almost at 0 now. That shows you how trends happen. Trends come and go. They can come and go today. Something trending today might not be trending next week. Something trending this year won't be trending next year, probably. That's why it's important to keep up with trending hashtags and keywords and all that SEO stuff. So that's very important. That's why I do that. And I keep this list, and then I'm going to rerun the list and then I'm going to go in and do see which one's trending the best. So that's how I do my research. I want to make sure I'm hitting all the trending stuff. If you're not hitting the trending stuff, it's not helping your video any. And then next Saturday, I have my grandson's birthday party. So I'm doing it's called search engine optimization. I'm going to do a short video, 10-minute video on that for next Saturday. And then tomorrow I have a video on 2 mistakes I made early on in my YouTube life that hurt my channel that I didn't know because I was new. That's coming out tomorrow. And then, of course, my joke channel, Oki's Eden, has today, Saturday, Sunday, 3 more jokes coming out that are quick, 10-second joke videos. And then I'll do 5 more Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of next week. And then I don't have to worry about, I'm going to be busy with my grandson's birthday. So I want to try to get all the stuff in the system, updated and loaded. I don't have to worry about messing with it or, being in a rush, because my grandson's birthday party is more important than YouTube. So, and like I was saying, like Nicola, I don't know if you've done, thank you. I don't know if you've done a live yet. I think you talked about doing a live. Did you see Chef Zed did a live last night? I think you were there. Were you there last night? Chef Zed did a live last night, and I was so glad because we've been asking her to do a live, and she was having internet problems in and out, but I just kept checking to make sure it was still going on. And she talked about not wanting, some people don't want to do one because they don't think they don't think it'll be any good. I always say to that, who cares? It's your live stream. It's your life. You're enjoying YouTube. Nicola, you guys are great cooks. Your content is really good. You'd have no trouble doing a live, and I'll guarantee everybody you subscribe to is going to watch. They're going to comment. They're going to interact. I'll definitely be there. I think I have you on subscribe where it notifies me every time, because I'm going to watch, and then I'll probably watch on my phone, and I'll put it on my TV on my other channel. That way you get 2 likes, and if you go on for an hour, you'll get 2 hours watch time because I have 2 different stations watching it. And I've been doing that for a lot of people that I follow that have a live on at certain times. Don't worry about it. You won't freeze. So here's what I do. This is what I do. Yeah, I showed you guys this before. I just keep I keep this little pad of paper here, and I write down 5 or 6 things I want to quickly talk about as announcements or something I learned on YouTube that I want to share. For the first 5 or 10 or 15 minutes before I do anything else, I just start, because people come in late sometimes, and I do 4 or 5 or 6 announcements. So script your first 4 or 5 minutes or 10 minutes on stuff you're just going to talk about really quick. It'll warm you up for the camera. It'll get you ready. It gives you a chance to adjust your lighting, your volume. If anybody comes on, they can tell you if they're having trouble hearing you before you get into cooking or something. And then you settle in, and then you just do your live. I've gone on for over an hour before, when I was early on. I had nobody show up. I talked for an hour. I had a script of stuff I was going to talk about. People came back later and watched it because that's what they'll do. If they can't watch it, because people work, people are in different countries, different time zones. So just go with the flow. If nobody comes in, just keep talking. I'll go back and watch it. People will come back and comment. They'll go back and like and interact to help you with your analytics. So go for an hour or so, 45 minutes, and just talk. If nobody's there, you're talking to a camera anyways. So just don't worry about it and just go. Should I do cooking or just talking? For the first one, in my opinion, I would try to keep it as simple as possible. I would just come up with a list. Like, number 1, ask people if they have any questions for you. Like yesterday with Chef Zed. I like to know, like a cook like yourself or Azuka or Cooking Beauty or whoever. I always ask, what is your favorite dish? What dish do you not only like to cook, but what is your favorite dish you like to eat? Or do you have a favorite dish you like to cook for people, but you like something else? So I would come up with a list. What is your favorite dish? What is your least favorite dish? What is the most common dish in your country? Italy is known the world over for their cuisine. People have copied we have in the United States, we have our pasta in the U.S. is not Italian. I mean, there are some. I have an authentic restaurant near me that they are authentic Italians. They get a lot of stuff back from Italy shipped in, and they get as close to Italian food as possible. But again, it's Americanized Italian food. But Italy is known for their cuisine worldwide, for their wines and for their food. And they've had a great impact in the world on food. So if you ask me what's my favorite Italian dish, I might say, ziti, baked ziti. And you're going to be like, what? That's not even Italian. That's just Americanized, pasta with some ragu sauce dumped on it and thrown in some cheap mozzarella. I would talk about your authentic dishes because watching you cook, when you're cooking, the stuff you're using is, authentic stuff you're using. Sorry about that. I've been waiting for a call, but that can wait. He's not that important. He's a former boss. He's not my current boss, so I don't have to take the call. But yeah, like a Q&A, I would go on and I would talk about what you like about cooking. Is that what your job is? Are you a chef? Are you a chef in real life? Are you a chef that does it as a hobby? Talk about that. I always like to know, what is your weather? That's one of the things I open with first, because everybody knows I'm always in the spring, we're in tornado weather. So they're always asking, hey, do you have any tornadoes? How's the weather? I would just say, hey, I'm in Italy on this day. Here's our temperature. Welcome to my live stream. And then I would just, what I like to do, I like this, my channel's about cooking. I cook Italian dishes or whatever you do. And then just tell people, as I'm talking, do you have any questions for me? What questions would you have for me if you were sitting in my kitchen talking to me like we were having coffee? That's another thing. Italians are known, you watch, I'm a Sopranos fan. I don't know if you've ever seen The Sopranos, but they're always talking about espresso. They have their espresso stuff, and they always have their little espresso cup they're sipping out of. I love coffee. I love espresso. I've never had authentic Italian espresso. I would love to know about have a cup of espresso while you're doing it. Can I get it? Is it something I can order in the US? Can I get, if you're drinking a certain brand name espresso, is that available in the US? Is that something I could try? And talk about your channel. And then, don't be afraid to ask for subscribers and just say stuff. But yeah, definitely ask questions, because if I'm there when it's live, if I'm able to be there when I'm live, when you're live, I'll ask a lot of questions. So I can ask you a lot of questions that'll give you a lot of time. So like I said, I'll watch it. I'll have both of my channels on at the same time. So it'll be helping your analytics. And then before you do it, do you know how to do a community post? Yeah, I would just have an espresso made. Well, like I do with my coffee. Right now I'm drinking, I had a little bit of Pepsi Zero and a little bit of Sprite left. So this is Pepsi Zero and Sprite. It's not that good, but I didn't want to, waste the soda. So I just dumped them together. Yeah, I would actually make an espresso and sit there and just tell us, hey, I'm drinking this espresso. Hey, Explorer. Nicola's going to do a live I'm really psyched. Yeah, she's doing a live, and Chef Zed did a live yesterday. I got to watch. So that was really, really cool. But yeah, that's what I would do on your live. If you want, Nicola, go watch Explorer. Go watch her lives. Her lives are really good. She'll do lives from her car, which I couldn't do because I'd end up on the roof of my car rolled over. But she does them from her car, home, everywhere. And then she just talks, takes questions, and just, oh, okay, you are connected. Yeah, she has some really good lives. And every once in a while, she does a little better with them when she puts on her sunglasses. I'm trying to get her to wear the backwards baseball cap, but she hasn't done that yet. Yeah, she is. And she does a really good job. I got to watch a little bit of her earlier. I didn't connect. I liked it, but I didn't say nothing because my grandson they had to take him to Oklahoma City today for some appointments. And I had to go help get him prepared to go. So I could only watch for a few minutes. But while I was preparing myself, like Explorer, like I think she might do this too, while I was getting ready to run out the door, I left it on her live. I just left her live running with the volume down while I was bouncing around the house getting ready to go. And what that does is it's helping her get time on her lives. So even a lot of times with lives, if you're not interacting or too busy to interact or you're with family, I still put the person's live on. I turn the volume down and I just leave it sitting there because that time is important to any YouTuber. Anybody. So if you have a 1 hour live and somebody leaves their phone on that channel for that whole hour, they get accounted 1 hour. So I don't just go on and leave. I try to leave my phone on that channel as long as I possibly can. But you'll be surprised. Even if you only get 2 or 3 or 4 people on a live, you'll have people just ask for questions. If I am there, which I will be, if I'm around, I'll have a bunch of questions. I'll ask the same questions people ask me. Have some pictures ready on your phone. I just flash my phone up sometimes and show pictures of the garden, or you have that beautiful view over your balcony or whatever it is. You're overlooking the sunrise the other morning when you put that out there. Talk about that, or if you're doing it at sunset or something, turn your camera so we can see that live. I haven't met a person yet that didn't like a sunset. I haven't met a person that did not like a sunrise. That's why I have my garden where it is, because in the morning I can look at the sunrise and then I can just turn my bench at night and watch my sunset. Our sunset. It's not my sun, but I can watch the sunset. But and then if you have a garden, if you have a deck garden or something, show some of the garden stuff. If you have some fresh vegetables in a bowl on the thing you grew, show that, talk about that, what you grow. Because, I'm always intrigued, like Explorer being from India, they have different cuisine than Italy. You guys have different cuisine than I like. Hold on one second. I like spicy stuff. So I've never had one of these before, but I went and I got, these are little Serrano, I believe. They're probably 4 or 5 times spicier than a jalapeno. I got these from a local, it's a small Mexican grocery store down in town. And she has some really, really good stuff. And she's starting up cooking now. And these are really good. I roasted these, and that's going to be in the thing that I cook one of these days. A couple of weeks, I'm going to use I roast these, and then I'm going to use them in this bean dish I do. And these are really, really good. I love jalapenos just because to me they're spicy enough just to give you that little bit of a kick, but they got that, I think, the really good flavor. But these are the same. These are like a trying to figure it out. But I also like poblano peppers. Poblano peppers are really good. But yeah, she's got a small grocery store, just a small one. And I try to support her because they're local businesses. I try to support the small mom and pop shops. She had these. I got probably 40 of these for like $3. And I think she thought it was like too much. And she's like, well, I can give you 10 for like $3 or for $1. I'm like, no, I'm cooking. I want all 40. $3 was, I don't care if it was $3. And then she's going to be making tortas. A torta is a Mexican sandwich. Have you ever had a torta, Nicola? Wow. They are really, really, really good. Yeah. And I think she thought I thought it was too expensive. So she wanted to give me fewer for less money. But I'm like, no. I'm going to take them all. You make okay. And that's another thing I would ask. What other than Italian dishes, what's your favorite Italian dish? And then what is your favorite? And then like I asked Chef Zed the other day, I asked her about like fried chicken. I'm down in the South now. So they do a fried chicken different than what we used to have up north when I lived up in New York State, up in the United States. I lived in New York. Fried chicken up there is much different than fried chicken down in the South. So I asked her if she ever did any, and she said, yes, she does fried chicken, but it's nothing like what I described the way they do it. So I ask questions like that. I'll give you a whole hour of questions if you want. So we'll get you time on a live and get you used to it. But do you have any questions for me? I always get rambling. And if you have a question for me about something about my life, my house, my garden, whatever. This reminds me. This is Pepsi Zero and Sprite. And has anybody seen? Oh, I had my black coffee earlier. I did have my black coffee earlier. I was really bummed out. There's a mom and pop coffee shop a few miles from me. I had to go down that way this morning. I was so excited I was going to get a latte. I was going to get my fresh latte. She was closed. That was a bummer. So I had to come back and make myself another coffee. But no, what I was saying was it's Mountain Dew. I'm sorry. It's Mountain Dew and Pepsi Zero because I just had 2 little bits left and I just mixed them. I tried last night. It's a new drink. I think it's Sprite tea. They take iced tea and Sprite and they mix it together. Have any of you guys tried that yet? I mean, it was okay. It didn't taste bad or anything, but it was nothing I would buy. I wouldn't go out and buy it just because, it's Sprite and iced tea. That sounds great. I just like Sprite and I like iced tea, but together it was okay. It was just kind of weird. So Nicola, I'm hoping you will do a live on Sunday. What time? Do you have a time frame where you might do it just so I can be prepared for it? You're 8, 7. Are you going to do it like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock p.m., whatever? So 4 to 5 p.m. would put me at about 8 or 9 a.m., which would be perfect. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. I mean, you have to go by, I'd go by who most of your viewers are. If 90% of your viewers are in the United States, I would work it around some U.S. time, Central time, Eastern time, whatever, or Pacific time. If most of your people that follow you, subscribe to you, are in Europe, most are from the States, then I might go a little bit later. because right now, I'll tell you right now, if you do it Sunday, a huge part of the United States population goes to church, whatever church does, whatever religion they follow. Sunday is their day. So families are up at 8 o'clock getting ready for their church. So between U.S. time, between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m., they're either getting ready for church or coming home from church. So just bear that in mind on a Sunday, because U.S. is big on. I know Europe too, like the Catholics and stuff is big over there. So just bear that in mind. There, you might get some people in church. It might be better if you could go on a little bit later or do it Saturday or something. Then more people would be available on a Saturday morning versus a Sunday morning, from what I understand. Yeah, and then what you can do is, if you don't mind, I would throw a community post on and just say, hey, I'm doing a live, please be there. Even throw a short video, just video yourself, just saying, hey, I'll see you tomorrow, at your time, just make sure you give them it's going to be, 7 p.m. Italy time, so they can figure out what the time difference is. And then just tell them to hit the notification. Where's mine here? Find my notification. There's a notification. You know what I'm talking about. Tell them to hit the notification bell. That way doesn't matter when you go live. It's gonna send them a notification. So 10 or 15 of the channels I follow the most, I always hit that bell that says all. So every time they post something, I get a message saying, Nicola is going live tomorrow at 6 p.m. But that would be my opinion on the Sunday. Sunday's a great day to do it. If you can get it 3 or 4 p.m., you should get a lot of people on a Sunday. But like if you do it where it's too early in the US, then I think that's great too, that you have a lot of US followers. That's awesome. I mean, that's really good that you have a lot of followers in the States. But anyways, it just happens. If it happens organically, I mean, America, you'd be surprised how many people in the United States are going back. Fast food used to be a thing in the United States. Americans love fast food. If they don't have to cook, they're not going to cook. I don't care how unhealthy it is. If most Americans don't have to cook, they're not going to cook. But because the last few years prices have been so crazy, I mean, you can't even go to like a McDonald's or a Burger King anymore. For one, I went to Sonic, which you might not have heard of Sonic. It's a fast food place. I got a chicken fried little steak sandwich, French fries, and a Coke. That was $11 today. That used to be $5 5 years ago. So if you take your family, even to McDonald's for 4 people, you're spending $30 to $40. I can eat for an entire week on $40 at home, cooking myself. So the U.S. has that. I think that might be why the United States is going back to a nation that is doing a lot more cooking, homesteading, raising chickens for their eggs and for their meats, gardening. They're growing gardens. Everybody here is growing gardens now. I've done them for years, but everybody around my area, they're all getting into gardening again. I know so many people that have chickens. One of my daughter just got chickens for the eggs. She didn't get them for meat birds. She got them for eggs. Because we're starting to control our money better, because you never know. Prices in the world can go up, can go down. It doesn't matter. We have no control over that, but we can control what we eat. So people aren't going to go to McDonald's. They're going to charge you. If me, my wife, and my son, we took him to McDonald's, it's $40. I'm not going to pay $40 for fast food. I like fast food for what it is. It's fast food. I'm hungry. I'm in a rush. I eat it. But I'm not going to go spend a good sit down. There's an Italian restaurant up the street. To this day, even now, I can go up there with 2 people and I can walk out of there for under $30 having a good Italian meal. I am not going to go spend $40 at McDonald's for fast food. Oh, she lives in Wisconsin, Minnesota. I love how they talk. They have that accent. And Kansas City. Oh, wow. Wow, you got a lot of people over here. That's awesome. But yeah, that's what I mean. I think that's why I think people are watching cooking channels more, just because of that, because they're trying to they're learning homesteading. They're learning how to cook. And if you watch a chef, a chef on one of the big channels, they have an unlimited budget. So if they'll buy a New York strip steak, which right now is like $25 for a steak in the US. The channel they're on pays their salary, buys all the food for them. So they're using all the top-notch ingredients. That doesn't fit us. I'm not going to go out and buy 2 New York strips and all these expensive ingredients and fancy spices. I'll spend $100 for a meal that I'm going to eat in one sitting, where like your channel and Chef Zed's channel, you're actually teaching what's his name? Glenn, and Cooking the Books, the lady from Cooking the Books. Glenn, when you get to know Glenn does his refrigerator clean out and his pantry clean out. And they also have a cold room for potatoes and parsnips and turnips they keep in their basement. So he does these clean outs all the time. He'll find meat on sale and then show you how to make a really cheap but really delicious dish. And I think that's why people watch channels like yours and Azuka and Chef Zed, because it's more realistic. You're cooking what I can cook. You're cooking what I can afford to go buy and cook. And it's like, you guys make it look really, and it is. Cooking's not super hard. It's just you have a recipe and you got to follow a certain step when you're cooking certain dishes. When you're browning something, or your temperatures, don't burn it. Don't go too high. You don't want to burn the butter. You don't want to do, you don't want to keep garlic. You don't want to just cook garlic too high. You'll burn it. It'll taste, it'll have a burned flavor. That kind of stuff. You have to learn that. But your recipes and Chef Zed's recipes, that's stuff I can watch and then I can go make. So one of these days I said to Zed, do you follow Chef Zed, right? And she was interested as you, Chef Zed, maybe me, maybe somebody else. We can pick a single dish, and then get on a collaborative live together where we're all on the screen together, and say we're doing butter chicken. I'm going to go get ingredients that I consider what butter chicken is to us in the United States. You can do butter chicken to what you do in Italy. She can do butter chicken if they have that dish in Africa. So we're all using chicken, but possibly different ingredients due to whatever country we're in. And then we'd all be on screen. And then we'd have times when we'd each be talking, but while we're talking, we'd be cooking. You could tell what you're using for your your ingredients. I could say what I've used for mine. She could say what she used for hers. And then we get the dishes going. Then we're talking in between and just talking to everybody and answering questions while it's cooking. And then at the end, we can actually all try our dishes and then kind of just compare what they look like, how they taste, and so on and so forth. I think that would be really cool. Or you turn it up a notch. Hey, Chef Zed, we were just talking about you. You were one of the topics of conversation. Nicola's going to do a live. We were talking about, I know you and I mentioned this once before, Chef Zed, a couple people doing the same dish on a live where 3 or 4 people are on the live together, a collaboration. We'd have to figure out how to do it. But then once we can figure out how to do it, we pick the same dish, and then you would cook it how you would cook it in Africa. Nicola would cook it using the spices and stuff she would use in Italy. And then I would do the Americanized version of whatever we're cooking. We'd be cooking the same dish. If you guys think that would be kind of cool. I think that would be really cool. The other thing that would be cool is if instead of me cooking it with the Americanized version, Chef Zed could cook it using like what Americans would use for a recipe. I could cook the Italian version that Nicola, whatever she would use, and then she could cook the African version of what Chef Zed does to see how we do. I think that would be really cool. And then while it's cooking, we can just bring the cameras up. We can have it on the food, and then we can be talking, answering questions while it's cooking. And then when it's done, we can taste it. We can all talk about how it tastes and whatever. And then people can ask questions, and we could have them, vote on who did the best job. It'll be you guys will be first and second every time because I'm an amateur. I throw it in the pan, cook it, eat it. That's me. So let me, I got to figure out how to do, I had trouble with collaborations before, but I will work on that. I have to get to 50 subscribers on my on my Okies. I want to do it from my Okies Hustle channel. So it doesn't affect anything on my Okies Eden channel, because sometimes that can affect that. So a few shy of 50. Once I get to 50, I'll start looking at how we do it, and then we can do a collaboration. We'll have to figure out a time, but then we could all do an announcement on a community post. Everybody's followers, I'd have mine. I know we have a lot of the same followers, but we have a lot of followers that don't follow the same ones we follow. So it might be a great opportunity to have people subscribe to us and grow our channels. So let me, once, like I said, I'm going to start looking at that. And then once I get to my 50 plus where I can do it on my iPad, because I want to do it with my iPad, not on my computer, my laptop. I'd rather do it on the iPad. So let me look into it. You guys look into it. And then we'll schedule it. And then I think probably what would be wise is, what we could do is, before we do the cooking one, we'll do one live before where it's 10 or 15 minutes that we can go live, get everybody on together, make sure it's working so we all understand how it works. And then we know when we do go live cooking, we're not going to have any technical issues. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that would work? To do a test live first. And then we would just have to figure out a time because we're all in different countries. So we would just pick a day when we could do it where I'm as long as it's during the day on a weekday, I can do any time from, 7:30 in the morning till 4 o'clock at night. So I have a huge bunch of time that I can fit it in. So I can work with you guys. So if it has to be on your schedule more, I can do that. But I would really like to do that. I think that would be so cool for all of our subscribers to watch us all cooking the same dish. And then what you can do is later, and you can just break that down, release it. and then you can actually edit sections of that and release videos off it later on your channel. But I really think that would give us, because that'll be an hour and a half at least of cooking time, answering questions, talking to people, them watching. We could get a lot of people watching and a lot of time allocated, put to our channels. And then probably, I would think, pick up a lot of different subscribers from each other's channels. I think that would be great. So let me just make a note of that real quick. And then start with a simple dish. We'll just pick something simple to make sure we're all on the same page. Technically, we're good. It's nothing fancy where I may not have a certain spice. I'm not going to have everything you guys have. You're not going to have everything I have. But do a simple dish, 4 or 5 ingredients on how we would all do it. And that way it's easier and quick, and then we don't mess up. If we mess it up, it's not a big deal. And then do another one later on with a more complex dish, like, I don't know, whatever you would consider complex. But and something that we can cook within 20, 30 minutes, a quick meal. I think that would be really cool. I'd have a good time doing that. I'd really look forward to that. So with that said, I have to go. I have to go over and take care of some dogs at my son's house, because they took my grandson up north today for some doctor's appointments. I appreciate everybody being here. Chef Zed, Nicola, I'm going to be looking into that. And like I said, once I hit my 50 subscribers is when we can schedule it, which hopefully would be next week sometime, the week after. I'll get it worked out. If you guys can start looking up how to do collaborations, I can look it up, then we can discuss it in another live or something. And we'll get it done. With that said, I do have to leave, go check on some dogs and let them out and take care of them a little bit. So I appreciate everybody coming here. Thank you very much. If you get a chance, go down in the comments after I list this, when this goes public, go down in the comments and just tell us what your channel's about. If it's just cooking, but hey, my name is, Chef Zed Kitchen. I do cooking. I do recipes. Come follow me, blah, blah, blah. Other people can then go watch and then read the comments. And if it's something they want to follow, then they can come subscribe or follow your channel or comment or whatever. But it gives us another opportunity to pick up. I don't mean go sub for sub. I wouldn't do that. But just put down there what your channel is. Give people a chance to know who you are and advertise yourself. So go do that in the comments after if you want to. So with that said, thank you guys very much. I do have to go, and I will talk to you all later. I'm going to try to make it on later on tonight. So you guys all have a great day.